Welcome, and thank you for your service. This is the military and veterans one, so if you're former or current service member or your family member, we want to thank you for that. So I'll go ahead and start the presentation. Oops. All right, so here's a little bit of what we'll be talking about. So first we're going to introduce ourselves, me and Joy, and then we'll tell you a little bit about the WSU military community that you're part of. You might not be aware of how many of you there are and kind of how what you mean to us here. Also, then I'll talk just a little bit about the military benefits. There might be some that you haven't thought about or you didn't know about. We'll talk about those briefly. Then Joy will go into degree planning and advising. She's an advisor, so she can definitely speak to that. And then we'll talk a little bit about challenges that might come up if you're military affiliated, if you're active or reservist or spouse or dependent. And then we'll give you guys some resources you might not know about, some ways you can get help, tutoring, and things like that that might help you along the way getting to your goals. My name is Jeff Willitson. I'm a Global Campus graduate, so I got my bachelor's and my master's when I was active duty in the Navy. I used my tuition assistance and my GI Bill while I was active duty to get it. I got my master's in strategic communication. And then about a year ago, I got out and I ended up here. So that really helped me along the way. Right now, I'm currently a reservist too, so I know a little bit about that. I go do my 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. I just did my 2 weeks a few weeks back. So I'm also kind of in that community. So right now I'm the senior writer for Global Campus, and I do marketing and communications and stuff like that. But since I have this kind of unique experience, I'm doing this webinar to let you guys know that you can do it too. And I got a lot of help along the way. I had a lot of helpful teachers and staff members that helped me through my graduate program. So we want to give that to you too and let you know that there's people who want you to succeed. So now, Joy.
Hi everyone, my name is Joy Thompson. I am the Assistant Director of Student Services. And while I wasn't actively engaged in the military, both my dad and my grandparents, a long line of having involvement in the military from in my family history. I have been with Global Campus for 10 years now and started as an academic advisor. Well, was with Global Campus even before that as a conference planner, but came to be an advisor 10 years ago. I just love seeing students overcome challenges. So that's one of the things I focus on is helping students think creatively about how do they get to their long-term goals and how do you best utilize the opportunities you have in front of you to get to where you want to go. So super excited to talk with everyone here today. Very much thank you for your service. I'm excited to look at opportunities that may be available to you that you weren't aware of. So we'll continue to have conversations, but throughout the presentation, we may be asking you some questions and would love your input in the chat box if you don't mind sharing. And we will go forward from there.
All right, so I'll tell you a little bit about the community that you're a part of. So first I want to say, first of all, thank you for your service again. And I see that we have veterans, so that's great. And thanks for letting us know. We got undergrads and some first semesters. So cool, very cool. So like I was saying, we really value our community here. We have a lot of, as I'll get to, we have a lot of military, especially compared to the campus community. We have a lot of military and veterans here in our online community, and we're here to support you. We have people at WSU, the larger system, who are here to support veterans, and we want to be there for you too. We have here at Global Campus, we have 8.6 at least. We actually might have more. We're trying to find better ways to make sure of all the veterans and military affiliated that we have here. But we know for sure that we have at least that many military affiliated, 8.6%, which is compared to the on campus, we have about 1%, which is about what the military community is at large. It's about 1% of our country. So it shows that we have a lot more percentage-wise here online. And I think that's because of the flexibility here, and you can do it wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, wherever you're at in life. So we want to make sure we take care of you guys. We have people all across the country. I did it when I was in the west side of Washington, and we have people who are a lot farther than that, who might be even forward deployed and things like that, who are still doing this stuff. yeah, and we have our WSU Veterans Affairs staff here, and we have our staff who are here to help you guys. Let's see. So a little bit about the military specific benefits. One thing that we wanted to bring up, and you may already know about this, or you may not, being we have, as far as I can tell, we have all veterans. So you probably have military service that you can use for your degree. So training that you've done, and you can let us know if you've used that, or if not, you can go ahead and put that in the chat. It can help you get through your degree faster. You'll have to pay for less classes, use less benefits, and it'll just get you to the finish line faster. The Air Force actually doesn't use the JST, which I'll get to, but they do have another way to use their training and credits to move their degree along.
And just real quick, if you haven't turned in your JST or you haven't turned in your Community College of the Air Force or Air University transcripts, it's not too late. So go ahead and get those in. And if you have questions about that, let us know. But I would encourage you to get those sent into the WSU Office of Admissions. I have found some cases where it's really made it so a student can graduate even a whole year or 2 years early just by getting that piece in. So if you haven't turned it in yet, go ahead and still do that. If you have turned it in, great. It's already part of your transfer credit report, and we'll talk more about that as we go along.
Yeah, I used mine for my bachelor's degree at a different school, and it really helped me. I only had to do, I had some associate's degree, but I only had to do 3 or 4 quarters or whatever it was because of that. It really helped me move my my stuff along. So let's see. And then here we talked about for the Air Force, they have the Air University. That's what they use. We also do CLEP, and it's all as recommended by the American Council of Education. So yeah, if you have that, yep, that will help you.
And just a reference point on those 30 credits. Some students ask why it's limited at 30 credits. One of the things we found is at one point in time, we didn't put a cap on the number of credits that were transferred over. And our students actually found that at a detriment if they were going for a degree that had a lot of requirements for us. For example, if you were going for a business degree that has quite a bit of requirements, taking more than 30 credits in transfer was not beneficial to you. So in consultation with our Veterans Office, they did agree that 30 credits was a right amount to bring over. So if you have any questions about that, again, we're happy to help you answer those, but we do cap the total number of transfer credits from your JST at 30.
Okay, cool. And I wanted to go over these a little bit. As veterans who are currently students here, you may be using your benefits already, but you have as a veteran you can use the GI Bill, and there's the vocational rehabilitation and employment, which is something you can do through the VA. You can get career counseling and education counseling. That's something you can look into, and we have links to that on our website, to our veterans website. But that's just another VA benefit that you have that can help you. We have some counseling and stuff that we'll get to, but there's another option for you.
And again, just talking briefly about those benefits is often when people are trying to get those set up for the first year, sometimes it takes longer than the first week to get those set up. Sometimes the timing isn't, you'll see an amount on your student account, but you're like, the VA is going to cover it. Now I might have a late fee. Don't worry about it. We will get that all cleaned up. So even if you're starting for your first semester and the money's not quite cycling like you thought, we're aware that happens. So don't stress on your end. We're happy to help you navigate that. And if late fees show up on your account, we're really good at getting those off while you're working through this first semester of getting your fees figured out.
There's on that link, which we have on our VA or our Global Campus Veterans website, it has a lot of links to different scholarships and things they might not know about. So I think that's another thing, a good thing to check out and see if you might qualify for something that you didn't know. Some of them are depending on your service or if you're a spouse or different things like that. It's pretty cool. Go ahead and here you go.
So I'm going to take over a little bit from here, but I just want to talk a little bit about the role of the academic advisor. Depending on if you're in an undergrad or undergraduate or graduate program will depend on what your experience looks like. I work mainly with undergraduate students, and when you contact the Global Campus at the 800 number, 800-222-4978, most of the advisors located there are having to do with the undergraduate degree. Graduate programs are supported by the departments, and they'll be very clear in communicating to you about who you should be speaking with. But really what advisors are here for is to help you be successful. We really want to see if we can help you navigate challenges, overcome roadblocks. That's one of our main goals, is if we know that you've got a challenge, we can help you find a solution. At the Global Campus, we try to be kind of a one-stop shop. We can't fix everything, but we can make sure you get to the right spot. So if you're going, I just don't even know where to turn, no matter where you're at, you can call the 800 number, but we're really all about getting those roadblocks removed. As undergraduates, you might see something like the writing portfolio that's coming up, or you might have different questions. And as academic advisors, and actually the whole student services team at the Global Campus, we really want to make sure you have the information that you need to succeed. The other thing we're really good at is helping you think creatively. You might come to the university thinking, okay, I have to do it this exact way. This is how I have to earn my degree. This is the degree I need. And we're kind of experts in the field about thinking of other things. So I think we'll move forward to the next slide. And we want to make sure you're, like we said, you're on the right program to meet your goals. So for example, I was working with a veteran recently, and he was saying, I need to do psychology because I want to be somebody who's helping people with maybe after they've been gotten out and need some support and counseling. And we looked at his transfer credits, and I go, you would still qualify for a master's program if you went with a social sciences degree. And what a social sciences degree allowed him to do was allowed him the flexibility to apply all of his credits in a little bit different manner and get his degree done quicker. So, you know, really knowing what your long-term goal is will help you be able to be successful going forward. But again, letting your advisor know what your goal is after your degree can help them find the right degree that fits you. For example, I spoke earlier about the person who wanted to go into counseling. Another example I have is sometimes people want to go into business, but they have a lot of transfer credits and they might not meet the business requirements super easily. So again, we might look at an alternative degree like a social sciences degree with a minor in HR, and you might be able to get done with that quicker and actually cover your requirements to get to an MBA program if that's your long-term goal. So again, talk to your advisor about what your long-term goal is, and they might help you find a creative solution that maximizes your credits and also looks at kind of where you want to go so you can get there. The other thing that's very helpful from an advisor standpoint is to let us know where you're at with your benefits. You know, if you can talk to the Veterans Office and kind of have an idea of how much time frame you have left, sometimes we can make sure we craft your degree in a way that you can get all your credits done in that time frame. I was working with a dependent who was going to run out of her time for her that she had left in her military benefits was wrapping up pretty quickly. And so what we were able to do is find some internship credits that she could fit in that wouldn't cost her any more money, but it'd allow her to wrap up in time. So if you know that your benefits have a certain amount of time frame, share that with your advisor. The other thing is if you know you're going to a graduate program, you might want to be really strategic because you could use your benefits to pay for the graduate program and try to pay for your undergrad a little bit more out of pocket or using a different financial aid source. So knowing that information with your advisor can help you come up with better plans. I love to talk about students getting their full impact of their benefits from the VA. So if I know someone wants to go to graduate school, we might talk about what some ways to save some of your time that you have left in, for example, the Montgomery GI Bill. So you have that to use for your master's program and can focus some alternative ways of paying for your undergrad. And again, that's always in collaboration. So that's kind of what we're there for. We're also there to help you out along the way. I love it when a student, you know, virtually raises their hand and says, help, you know, they send me an email and say, I've ran into this situation, or this is the crisis that's going on. And we know life happens. We don't expect everyone to be perfect students. We just love it when they reach out to us so that we can find alternative pathways. One of my statements that I say a lot is I like to see students live to fight another day. So we want to protect your academics so that you can make sure that you can come back next semester. So if the wheels are falling off for whatever reason, the sooner you get a hold of your advisor, the more likely we're going to be able to protect your academics so that you can come back in a future semester. Waiting until after the semester is over sometimes means we have less pathways and alternatives for you to be able to kind of get on the track that you want to do. And the final thing is we love to celebrate. So when you make it to graduation, know that your advisors are going to be some of your biggest cheerleaders. It's one of my favorite parts of my job is celebrating your success. So, you know, we're there for the long haul, and we have graduation ceremonies, we have receptions. We love to meet you and get to know you. And we also love to know that you're with people who are like you. Not everybody in your course space is going to be a veteran or someone who may be military affiliated, but most of them are going to be adults like you that have some life experience. It's really cool to be amongst your peers and to have that celebration where you're seeing people who look like you, who are experiencing the same challenges as you, whether it's a parent, whether it's that you're doing this while you're working full time. So many of the people in your course space are like you, so we like to have that celebration together.
Yeah, and actually one thing is we do for just global campus students in general, we do a reception for graduation. But I didn't know until pretty recently that they actually do it for veterans as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the Veterans Affairs people, they do a reception. And it's on a different day. I think they do it a little bit earlier than we do. So you have to find out when it is when you do graduate. But they'll come. You'll get to meet people who are veterans too, and they give you a cool little coin and stuff like that. So it's another thing to look into.
Yeah, and some of you might be saying, I'm on my first semester. Why are you talking about graduation already? And my big belief is if you don't keep graduation in front of you, you lose track of what you're doing. So graduation, I think, should always be one of those landmarks that you're not losing track of. Plan on your party now, because then when you get to it, you've got it set.
So I was trying to think of some different things that you guys might be facing depending on where you're at and where you're at in your journey. But one thing is a lot of people who are, if they're military or veteran, you might be anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that we've seen that people have some challenges with is the time and distance from us. So I just talked to a woman who's in Germany. She wasn't military, but she had some issues with time, because it was a big difference. So she had to set things up to get things in earlier because of the time difference.
Yeah, we're Pacific time. So if you're anywhere else in the world, the assignments are always due Pacific time. So whether it's minus 8 hours plus 3 hours, you got to kind of figure out that math.
Yep. And then the unexpected deployments or mobilizations, if you are active duty or if you're a reservist, things come up, and I think Joy has some stuff to say about that. Yeah.
You may be the person being deployed, or you may be supporting the person who's deployed, but either way, we know it's upheaval. And again, that's one of those situations where even if you're in the midst of the upheaval, if all you can do is send an email to your advisor and say, this is what's going on, we can help you figure out what to do next. And even that email in and of itself will give us some keys to be able to say, okay, let's reach out to your instructors and let them know what's going on. Let's talk about what the withdrawal process is. But even if we don't get that all done before you leave, having that email in our hands will help us cover you while you're gone. Again, we know things like that happen, and we want to support you the best way we can, but just letting us know helps us to make sure that we've got you covered. And that we've talked about what your options are going forward. Instructors are sometimes willing to give incompletes. So instead of not getting the course done, like if you're halfway through the course and then all of a sudden something's happened, we can work with you to request an incomplete so you can finish it when you can come back and have a chance to catch up.
And adapting to the higher education environment. I know we have a lot of veterans in this particular one, and whether or not you're a veteran or you're active duty, you may be, getting into a totally new environment. You may have never gone to college before, or it just might be a different thing for you. So we understand that, and we want to be there to kind of help you along if you need any help kind of adapting to the higher education environment.
And we do know the first semester can feel uncomfortable. It really can. It's kind of an adjustment, depending on where you're at in status. People just think differently. I mean, the reality is you're moving from a world where there was a lot of things that were done similar ways into a world where a whole bunch of people approach it from a different perspective. And sometimes that can just feel plain uncomfortable. And I think that's okay to live in that uncomfortability and just realize it's a change. It's a little bit different, but the rewards of the degree and what the doors open for you are sometimes worth that uncomfortable adjustment.
Yeah, and we talked about the military benefits. If you do have difficulties with those or you want help, we have the Veterans Affairs Office, and they're there to help you, and we can get to where you need help too. I'll give my email address, and if you want to email me, I can talk to you about what my experiences were and help get you someone who can help you. And then also, as you said, the advisors are definitely very willing to hear any issues that you have to help you out with that and plan your way out. Yeah.
Well, advisors are not the experts on knowing exactly what your benefits do, but if you tell them that you have benefits, they can make sure you connect with our Veterans Office, which is the one who actually provides the practical details of how to get your benefits applied. Sometimes you might say that you have a certain form or you have the certain thing, and an advisor can't always translate that because we don't always know the ins and outs of what you're discussing, because not all of us have had military affiliated experience. But again, if you just say, this is what this is, and this is what I think it means, I'm like, great, we can take it from there. So don't don't be afraid to share more information with your advisor if you don't think that they're picking it up. And then we'll make sure that the actual physical processing gets done by a Veterans Affairs office. It's all of the military benefits all get processed in Pullman, no matter what campus you're going to. So we just make sure we plug you into those resources.
And just like a lot of people who are in a global campus online school, they are working, doing other things, have family. That's what I did too. I had a kid while I was doing my master's degree, and I was working full time in active duty. So I definitely know it can be hard a lot of times. If you do need to, take a little more time or whatever, the advisors are there to help you make those decisions to get your best path to get to graduation as soon as you can, but still, be able to get through what you need to get to and not have any issues with the rest of your life. So.
Like we said, these are your people. I mean, they may be a little bit different in that they haven't had the direct military service, but they are like you, that they're usually busy people. Our average age, I believe, is 33. I sometimes laugh because when you come on the Pullman campus, you tell an adult to adjust to having a whole bunch of younger people in your classroom. I tell 18-year-olds at the global campus, you're going to have to adjust because you're having a bunch of adults in your classroom. And it's kind of nice to know that when you're coming in, these are people that understand. So we've had people who have been fellow students in the global campus who actually they'll meet at an event and they're like, we've been doing discussion boards for forever. It's so good to get to know who you are. We've had some people create study groups or actually babysitting groups just because they've gotten to know each other. So it's just nice to know that you are with a group of people who are experiencing the same life.
So if you do need help, there's a couple other things we wanted to talk about. So we just talked about the number, and you can call the generalists, or they can help you get where you need to go if you're in a grad program, or if you have your advisor, you can talk to them.
Yeah, and I would say we missed a little piece there. The magical number is 800-222-4978. The magical email is online at wsu.edu. If you don't know where to go, send it to either online at wsu.edu or 800-222-4978, and someone will get you to where you need to be.
Awesome. Yeah. And then we talked about the Veterans Affairs people, so I have their email there, and then that's their phone number. I think right now they're in transitioning. They're getting a new person who's in charge of that office, so I think they're taking more emails. They may be doing a little, but in the future they probably will be taking calls as well, and that will kind of help you whatever you need. Though. If you are doing benefits like the GI Bill, that goes through their office. You have to send it to them anyways, and they can help you with that for sure. A couple other resources I want to talk about. We have free e-tutoring. If you need help, this is your first college experience and you want a little help with that, we have e-tutoring. You can find that on our Global Campus current student website there. I have the URL. Also, we have career counseling, which can help you get ready for what comes after this.
And sometimes I have discovered when working with some military affiliated members that they don't know what career they want. They just know they need a degree. They just know that they want to use their benefits. And I would really encourage you, if you're in that spot, there's nothing wrong with that. Your life is going through transition right now and you're trying to figure it out. Please use those career resources. You don't have to have it nailed down that you're going to be exactly this job, but if you know where you gravitate to, that can help you make some wise decisions. Because sometimes you just pick a degree based off of what you like. So you're like, well, I think I like business, but maybe taking some of those assessment tests will help you realize, oh, I thought I liked business, but really I gravitate more towards something in a helping field, maybe a psychology or a social science, social work type field. And again, it's sometimes nice because I think all of us think as adults we should just know, and we don't have to know. You can definitely use this time to explore and to use those career resources to make sure you're on the right track for what's going to fit best for you.
And when I got out of active duty a little more than a year ago, we have to do the TAP class, the transition class. And when I was there, I noticed there was kind of two different kinds of people. There was people who knew exactly what they wanted to do because it's what they did in the military and they were just going to continue. And that was me. I did communications and I was going to do it when I got out, and that was my degree and everything. But most of the people didn't know because what they did didn't apply to something they could do outside. So there was a lot of people who were kind of exploring, and I think that's a lot of people, especially when they in their undergrad, they're exploring what they want to do, and that career counseling might help kind of get ideas. You can find what fits you best, and if you haven't really thought about what comes after, you just have gotten out and you're earning your degree using your GI Bill, which is definitely what you're supposed to do. But you can find more direction if you get some help. So we can. And then virtual mentors was another thing. If you do have issues with the technology of being an online student, it's something you haven't done before, and Blackboard can be challenging sometimes, which is what we're using right now. They're there to help you with Blackboard, help you with all the technical aspects of things like, message boards and how to paste stuff in and stuff like that. So I have their link there too. We have a page just for them. They're not in all of the courses, but when you're in a course, you can find if you have a virtual mentor, and they can help you out.
Yeah, they are actually previous students, so they've been successfully through the Global Campus, or they're currently enrolled at the Global Campus. So again, it's sometimes nice. I'll be honest, I didn't finish my degree online, so I don't always understand the online experience because it wasn't what I did. But I can, by using that virtual mentor resource, you can talk to someone who was a student, is a student, and kind of knows how to navigate those pieces.
When I first started, I don't believe they had virtual mentors, and it was a new thing while I was while I was doing it. And I did have some issues. I think I started out, not with Blackboard, I started on Angel, which was a lot harder. And then Blackboard still has those challenges too. But sometimes there's just things like, how do I paste this in and make it not look all weird or whatever? And they'll be there to help you with that. So you don't have to do, not stuck all on your own trying to figure it out for a couple hours. So, yeah. So I just had a couple more tools and resources. I got some websites here. So we have a web page just for military and veterans on our Global Campus website. It's on the current students side. So you can go there and you can see there's all those links to benefits and about credits and some more contact information and things like that. And then there's our WSU Veterans Affairs website. That's pretty easy, va.wsu.edu. Go there. And then I also put, we have the for active duty with Military OneSource, VA for veterans benefits, education. And then the transferring clearinghouse will help you figure out some of the transferring issues too for getting your credit. And then here's our contacts. So there's my email. You can send me an email. And then I have Joy's there as well. And the Veterans Affairs office there. And I should put the email for us to online.
It's on your chat box if you need that. Okay, so it looks like, Brittany, you just sent in your JST official transcript. And do you like to see combination classes like InSpace or just military training? Honestly, we take your whole JST transcript, and what happens is if we go back a slide, back one slide, the WSU Transfer Clearinghouse that's listed right there, they actually go through your whole transcript and they follow ACE recommendations to apply credit for it. So just send the whole thing in. And then they'll go through it and say, okay, this looks like it following our ACE recommendations. This would be a college level course. I've seen college level credit given from everything from leadership. I mean, there's some that we just don't give college credit for. I can't remember exact titles, but something like, I'm not going to sound very smart, but maybe your basic training when it was highly based off of physical experience may not get college credit, but your leadership portion of that would. So I would say send it in. And then once it gets in, it will end up on your transfer credit report, just like the rest of your schooling has. It will be a separate section that says JST, and it will tell you how many credits you've got. If you're wondering why that's lower or higher, if it's below the 30 and you're curious why, again, reach out to your advisor and we'll help you contact the Transfer Clearinghouse and get that sorted out.
If I remember, I think NC PACE courses, those ones are actually just college level courses.
Yeah.
So those will definitely apply to the military training. Could be anything. I think there was, when I looked at mine, I think there was stuff from my boot camp. And then there was a lot of stuff from my my technical training, my occupational training. So depending on what you did, it could be more, fit well with your degree. And
with the degree specifically in social sciences and humanities, we can actually take some of those credits and apply them to concentration areas within a major. So for example, if you're a business major, they say you have to take Management 301. If you're a social sciences or humanities major, they're going to say, we want courses that are related around business topics. So we could take something in leadership, which is very much a business topic, and say, hey, we're going to apply this to a concentration in business because it doesn't have to be a specific course. So the social sciences and humanities has the greater opportunity to use those JST transcripts in really creative ways. So it's something just to be aware of. I love the social sciences degree, so I'm a little bit biased towards it. I'll just have to say that flat out. But it is a more flexible degree. But again, your advisor is going to help you navigate by looking at what your long-term goal is, what's the best way to get there, what's some opportunities that you may not have thought of.
Yeah, when I did my undergrad, so it was at a different school, so it wasn't WSU. But when I did when I did my undergrad, I was trying to get a communications degree, and I used my JST for it. I got all the way to the end, and when I was getting ready to graduate, I found out that I had too many journalism credits, so I couldn't actually do communications unless I did a couple more quarters. So I got I think it's liberal arts, but it was the same kind of thing, where it fit everything. It was way more flexible, and I was like, I'll take that, and I use that to get my to come here and get my my grad. So that hopefully we won't, we'll get you that the first time. Talk to your advisor, it might be on me, but
Well,
yeah. So
it's true. It's somebody who's been a civilian my whole life, and I've actually done a lot of hiring of people. I don't get wrapped up in what the title of the degree is, and very few. I mean, I don't care what your degree title is. I just care that you have a degree, because I hire for some positions that require a bachelor's degree, and very rarely has someone been booted because they had a social sciences degree versus a psychology degree. But no degree is what sometimes closes doors. So again, things are different. I mean, you can't be a doctor without a MD degree, but a lot of the world is made up of general degrees and anything works.
And I find for military people, you have other experience, and employers are gonna see that. A lot of times, you just need a degree so they know that you have some education too. But you'll have leadership and all that kind of stuff that really counts.
Yeah. Any other questions? Brittany, thanks for sharing that with us. It was nice to be able to get that question answered for you.
Cool.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yep. Thanks for your time.
Have a great night.